welcome to the Hydrant. We're just having some silly fun beforehand. My guest today is Lana Goldfinch, and you can reach her at actorsinnerstrength.com, which gives you a little bit of a hint of what she does. And she deals with actors who are really suffering some emotional or physical issues like anxiety. She's an anxiety and trauma specialist, a master energy healer, timeline therapist, hypnotherapist, master neuro-linguistic programming, and I'm amazed I said that, practitioner, and supportive breakthrough coach. She's been helping actors deal with anything that comes up in their lives, from stress, anxiety, self-doubt, stage fright, limiting beliefs, and all that. She came upon this because she herself has had quite a traumatic background with emotionally broken and abusive relationships, trauma from one end of the scale to the other, panic attacks. And you and I could probably have a whole episode just talking about panic attacks because I got a history with that. We've done, she's done podcasts. She's done all sorts of podcasts. She just got her first acting role or a recent acting role in a horror film as somebody's mother. So that's really cool. But the one thing that it's just, I'm like, oh yeah, she's a drummer, and I'm a drummer.
I didn't realize she's going to bring that one up.
It's like, oh, cool, she's a drummer. I'm a drummer. That's so cool. I love it. So, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Let's start here, just because it's easy. How did the drumming come about?
Oh, I come from a musical family anyway. So I learnt to play keyboard, piano, organ, piano accordion, flute, oboe, violin, all sorts. And then I landed on drums in the end because I was always sort of like the beat of everything, the percussion side, everything else like that. And I'm always sort of like singing, dancing and everything else like that. And it just seemed, I was always tapping along to things as well. And I thought, right, let's give this a go. But I had my first job when I was 14. I had a part-time job in a farm shop, and I saved up all of my wages for, well, it was weeks or months, I'm not sure, to buy my first drum kit. So way back then when I was 14, I've had about 4 or 5 different kits throughout my life at different stages, depending on where I was living, etc. But my dad plays the organ, or my brother's guitar, and that's what sometimes we always used to get together and play sort of like together, and Christmas songs and all other songs to get together and play in that sense. But I have actually stood up in a pub. You've probably read that bit maybe, that I stood up in a pub and played the drums of a band that was on at the time, and they were just on their break, and I went up to them and I said, can I play, would you mind? And they said, no, go for it. So I literally let rip, no inhibitions whatsoever, and I've got a standing ovation. So I love it.
Great. That's great. How cool is that? That's wonderful. Because I started playing around the same time, around 13 years old, and it was, without going into the whole history, it was just a way to get my frustrations out, and I figured drums was better than like guitar or something, because the drums I could beat the hell out of. So that was kind of my bizarre channel into that.
Very, very good for that.
So tell me a little bit about the healing that you do, because your resume is impressive, and you deal with people's anxieties, and particularly in our industry with stage fright and self-doubt is a big one. And I know you've got kind of a tough background, but what was the one thing that kind of triggered you to say, oh, I could do this for other people, I could help other people at the same time?
It took a long time for me to realise that was what I needed to be doing, to be honest. I think part of it was because I'd gone through so much in my life, and a lot of things that brought up anxiety, etc., for me. And I didn't want to be focusing on that. I was trying to sort of like discard it and try and cover it up. And obviously it was only when I'd done further healing and various other tools and techniques that sort of like help me move through that and release it, etc., then I'm going to realise, well, hold on a minute, I can do so much more. I know what I've gone through in the past and what I've dealt with and healed from. That, why shouldn't I be able to help other people do the same sort of thing? And I've been doing energy healing for, I think it must be about 14 years now.
Wow.
And it's, I suppose I was doing various different aspects of it for quite a long time, for years, for different ways, different reasons, for different people. And it took a while for me to realise exactly what it was that I wanted to help people with. And then just one day, it just sort of like literally hit me like a bolt of lightning that I
Hmm.
think because I've had certain people ended up coming to me for that reason as well as others sort of thing, and the results it got and how they felt afterwards. I'm thinking, well, I think the first one in that respect, she was a presenter and an actress, and she came to me for one particular reason, and then she ended up actually being helped for anxiety for herself as well, and we were sort of like talking through it a lot, and I thought of like I really started to get so excited about working more in that sense with
Mm.
anxiety and self-belief issues and trauma, etc., because I know how it feels to actually get through it, through the other side, and
Right, and you actually pinpointed, the fact that you were having panic attacks fairly early on.
mm,
You were, like, in your teens, weren't you?
yeah, I was fresh out of college actually.
Yeah,
My first job at a solicitor's office,
'cause I
and
didn't realize what they were until I was, like, 40, and I'd had them since I was, like, 13 years old, and they just I just bowled my way through them and never really knew what it was until I got some help, and the person I was talking to was like, "Oh, this is what this is," and I was like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense, and now you can go forward." So, for me, it was like identifying what it was
yeah.
put me on the road to dealing with it, and it was all those years in between that I was just suffering through it and had no control over and didn't even know what it was at that point.
Yeah, and
So
it's very scary. I mean, I had to have an ambulance come out to me.
right.
I was literally out in the street. I literally felt as if I was going to die.
Mhm.
Basically, I couldn't breathe. Couldn't. It's tight chest. It was, you know, there was just so much going on. Everything was a blur. It was sort of like I really didn't know what to do. And obviously, that was such a long time ago for back then, so I
Right.
don't remember exactly how I felt, but just certain parts of it.
Sure.
Um, and yeah, obviously there's a lot of blowing in paper bags and all sorts going on, and um, but yeah, I did actually have to go into hospital briefly just to check me out in
Wow.
case there's something else that's going on. But yeah, that's what it was, and I was sort of, it's such a scary thought that,
Yeah.
but obviously you learn to then realise and recognise the signs.
It's like I wanted to jump out of my skin. I couldn't get away from myself fast enough, and I used to get on my bicycle and ride for miles. I mean, for
Mm,
hours and hours and hours, because the motion of just getting away from myself helped me work out of it, but I could spend hours and hours and hours doing that, and it's not a good feeling at all. It's a scary feeling, and it's just you don't know what things are gonna happen, so I'm actually gonna turn the tables on you a little bit. Um, don't panic. Um, I want to ask you a couple questions that you ask other people
all
from your
right.
website. So, if you were to wave a magic wand and could help change three things in your life and your career in the acting and entertainment realm, what would they be?
Oh, that's cheeky.
Okay, you don't have to pick three, just pick one.
What I could change about myself, three things in the acting and entertainment industry. Well, actually, that's a tricky one because I've done so much for myself over the years as well, and I don't want to give anything away, do I? Because that wouldn't look good. Um, but I'm actually moving myself way forward in the acting and voiceover industries
Mm,
myself as well. So to I guess in a sense magic wand to not make it happen faster because obviously the journey is the best part with everything to a
right.
degree. But a magic wand to, I guess, oh my gosh, bring the best me to everything,
Mm.
which I always intend to try to do as anyway. Um, things to change about myself. Now, oh, actually, one thing I suppose is maybe I do talk too much, and maybe I need to sort of like hold back because I've gone from not years ago not saying boo to goose literally and talking to hardly anybody to now making up for it and just literally letting it go. And
Everything that had been pushed down is now starting to
and
come out.
yeah, people sometimes can't get a word in, so maybe I need to sort of like hold back on that a little bit and yeah, let
Okay,
it flow a little bit differently in that respect. But
I won't torture you with any more questions. I was going to ask you a couple more from your website, but I won't torture you with that. We'll go we'll right into the questions that I normally ask, and these won't be as tough as that one, I promise. Or maybe they will be. Who knows? Um, if you were an ice cream flavor, what would you be?
oh, it's got to be a raspberry ripple, isn't it?
Oh, I like that. I like
Well,
that.
the raspberry colour, the hair, and I like to make a ripple in people's lives.
That's a great analogy. I love it. What what song should play every time you walk into a room?
This is me.
Which we all should have. Okay, this might be a tough one, but let's give it a shot. What advice would you give yourself at age 15?
Maybe not take so much to heart and
Mhm,
not believe everything people were saying to me um, in the way that they were putting me down, if you see, and to believe that well, that I can be and do anything and everything I want to do and be, and
mhm.
that I'm a much better person than what people say.
It would be nice if we all had something like that, at particularly at that teenage age, just to say, you're fine. Don't listen to what all the other bozos are saying. You're
Well,
fine.
yeah, I mean, I was bullied an awful lot at school.
Yeah,
So, um, but I guess, yeah, to realise that there's so much out there and that to be more accepting of yourself and to realize that I suppose that the way that other people treat you isn't down to you. It's issues and beliefs and feelings that they've got and situations they've got in their own lives that are causing them to behave in that way, and
right.
that to give yourself more self-respect as well, and love you for who you are because you're an amazing person.
Who would play you in a movie about your life?
Oh, I know this one. Um, Well, one of my favourite programs from years back when I lived in Canada, I started watching it and it was Gilmore Girls,
Okay.
and so Lorelai Gilmore, what's her name? Lauren Graham. I
Mm.
think we are sort of like kindred spirits in a way of some respects, but not all. But I think um, the way she talks a lot, talks really fast, and has funny little mannerisms and quirkiness, and just sort of like her, well, sense of humour and everything else like that. It's just sort of like I can really um, see her actually playing me. To be
That
honest,
would be cool.
in something that would be absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
That would be cool. What food will you absolutely not, under any circumstances, eat?
Oh, Brussels sprouts, definitely no Brussels sprouts. Oh, and one of mushrooms. I can't bear mushrooms. It's the sliminess of the. Oh no.
What's your favorite curse word?
um, I'm not allowed to swear, am I?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Absolutely. This is not rated PG. This is whatever goes goes.
Okay, well, I do say a few, but that would surprise a lot of people, I'm sure. Um, no, I do say fuck. I say, I shouldn't, I say, when things go wrong, sort of, oh, pissing hell. I used to say like, frick a lot, and I made someone laugh the other day when my dog had done something, I can't remember what it was, and I said, "Oh, cotton picking dog." and, and like bottoms and just sort of like anything that comes to mind, really. But
That's good. I like that. Pineapple pizza or candy corn?
candy corn.
Toilet paper, over or under?
Now I'm going to be in the minority here because I prefer under. I do the under, and if anybody puts a new one on the roll and the other way around, I instantly have to turn it round again. It's just one of my
You're not actually,
prerequisites.
that minority isn't as small as you think it is. So
Oh, the
it's,
under one. I've
yeah.
seen. I know most people that. Well, most people I know of do like the over,
Uh,
but
the over people get militant about it. It's unbelievable. Eggs, omelet or scrambled?
omelette. I think you can do so much more with it.
Hmm. Winter or summer?
Summer, definitely. I lived in Canada for far too many years in minus 40s temperatures with 6 foot of snow up here. Summer all the way.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'll pass on that. Um, we mentioned this once, but I'll bring it up again anyway. Monty Python or the Young Ones?
Monty Python,
Hmm.
definitely.
Just too classic. Just too
Absolutely.
classic. Okay, we're gonna move into some would you rather questions.
Right.
Would you rather have telekinesis, the ability to move things with your mind, or telepathy, the ability to read people's minds?
Oh, definitely um, the telepathy. Yeah, definitely. But saying that, because I'm quite a woo-woo type of person. Some people really don't vibe with that, but I'm just going to let know anyway. But I years ago actually used to go to like psychic development and clairvoyancy groups and things like that, and
Right.
I've got a little bit of an element in that aspect anyway. So to a degree, I can't always necessarily pinpoint and know exactly at the time what people are saying or thinking, but there's parts of that there. But I would definitely prefer that than yeah, to move things. Yeah, no, definitely more the mind. I'm a mind person. That's me.
Would you rather have all traffic lights you approach be green or never have to stand in line again?
Oh, never have to stand in line. Absolutely.
Would you rather know the history of every object you touch or have the ability to talk to animals?
Talking to animals, I'd love to tell you what, my dog called he's called Dappy for a reason. He's very much Dappy by name, Dappy by nature. And sometimes the way he looks at me as well, I just love to know what he was thinking, what was going through his mind. But yeah, definitely animals.
Would you rather have whatever you are thinking appear in a bubble above your head for everyone to read? Or would you rather have everything you do be live streamed for everyone to see?
um, um, oh, there's pros and cons for both there, aren't there? Really.
It's
I mean, if they saw everything I was doing, they'd be having a whale of a time in fits of laughter, really, because I do a few silly things in my day. All the singing and dancing, acting silly. Um, and if they used to see everything I was thinking, again, I think they'd be laughing their heads off, really, because I have all sorts of weird and wonderful thoughts coming out. So I think, okay, I'm allowed to say both. I don't know. I really, I don't can't pick one for the other, and not for bad things. It's just I think that it'd be quite hilarious, really.
They're both hideous in their own way, so it's just like, whichever one you want is fine. If you could pick one thing to say to someone that is struggling emotionally and is really looking for help and is just kind of starting on their journey down this road, of all the things you can say to that person, what's the one thing that kind of pops into your mind is kind of like the most important thing, advice to give them?
Be you is a big thing.
Mm,
Be more self-accepting. Realize that. um, well, to not allow negative thoughts and beliefs to have the power over you. Um, Take one step at a time, one day at a time. Um, Set yourself goals. There's so many different things,
Right,
and just breathe. Well, breathe is a big thing, obviously. Um, there's so many just little things just at the start. It's just sort of difficult to say what the main things I could give
right.
really, but um,
And everybody's different, so different things are
it's
gonna resonate with
exactly,
different
yeah.
people.
I mean, everybody I've worked with is just, it is just, even if some people are very similar, there's a slight difference because their energy is different, their lives are different, their every aspect of them is different with what they've got going on. So to give a full sort of like advice thing in that sense, like a full scale one, is a bit tricky. But yeah, beginning, if they're starting to feel, anxious or an emotional state, just to be in that moment, accept the feelings, accept the thoughts, knowing that they're not actually you as a person, and they're brought to you for a reason because of certain situations, but you can control your mind, you can control what happens next. It's up to you to actually make the change, and to get help,
Mhm.
to yeah, and yeah, don't go it alone. um,
Yeah, that's what just popped into my head is like, you cannot do this alone.
Not a lot of people think they can,
I know.
and to some degree you can. There's a lot of self-help things out there which help to a degree, but there's a lot. Sometimes it's just a case of that it sort of like works like a plaster or a band-aid sort of thing and
Mhm.
covers it up. So whatever helps you in the short term, brilliant. Just
Right,
do it. And obviously, meditation is wonderful. Grounding yourself, doing things that you love. And be grateful and thankful for everything you've got at the moment. Think of everything that has happened to you up until now, all the positive things, and think and feel into those moments. And that you can have a lot more of those wonderful moments. And especially like with the acting and voiceover industry, again, like don't go alone. Don't go it alone with what you need to learn for the industry itself with the acting side and the voiceover, etc. Learn what you need to learn, know that you have actually got what it takes. It's just getting that more of that self-belief in you.
right.
And
Because so much of what we do is done alone, in a booth, and it's just you hit it with, like, all the training and all the learning and all the connections, you have to have those connections or else you'll just, lose your
yeah,
mind.
that's it. Give yourself a break, literally. It's, well, in different respects,
Right,
make sure you break that pattern. Do things that you enjoy, that you love. Let your whole body, your thoughts to actually to relax and filter in, much better thoughts
right.
and happy moments into you, because those happy moments actually lift you up more and can actually allow your energy to shine in more of a different way. You can then start to enjoy what you're doing a lot more. You can relax your thoughts. You can start to concentrate better and focus better. There's so much more. Don't give up is a big
Mhm.
thing. Keep on going. You've got what it takes. It's just getting that belief into you and releasing, everything that's sort of like holding you back. And there's some of you, there's a lot, and
Yeah.
also some of you don't realise exactly what it is that's causing you to feel that way. Everyone deserves and can feel top notch, the top of the world. So why keep yourself down? Why keep yourself on that low path when you can reach the top?
And you are the perfect person that people should contact if they're in that kind of emotional boat for themselves. And you can get to Lana at actorsinnerstrength.com if what you've heard is kind of resonating with you and making a lot of sense and talking to you. She is the person that you should contact and see what paths could come your way to kind of help yourself along. So, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's
I've
been
enjoyed myself.
Oh, it's been fun, and obviously, If you see Lana online, you'll know who it is with the hair and everything. She stands, you can't miss her. She's out there. Look out on all the different social media things she's out there. Thank you again, and we will see you next time on The Hydrant.